Z. This is going to be... Is this our first PvZ of the evening?
It is our first Z period of the evening.
No,
that's not true. We did Ghost.
Alright, so spawning over here on the left-hand side of the map, we have our orange Protoss. He is Orion, not to be confused with the popular archer constellation Orion.
Or the Metallica song Orion.
Oh, I didn't. Oh, I'm not a huge Metallica fan, so yes, apparently Metallica as well. And his opponent spawning over here in the bottom right, we have Economist, our green Zerg player. So we're going to see if he is going to be the winner when it comes to monies and all things economy-wise.
Oh, I get it. That's funny.
It would be ironic if he had a really shitty economy.
I really hope he just does like a cheesy one base all in.
Where he does 9 pool all day.
Just 9 pool.
He's like, I am the economist with no economy.
And then it doesn't work out, so he somehow figures out how to make DTs as a Zerg player. Because you know
so
it.
It looks like neither players have played this map before. This is GSL Daybreak, right?
I think it is.
Or is this Calm Before the Storm?
No, this is, no, it definitely is Calm Before the Storm. It's got the pocket expansion.
Oh, okay, I was thinking of Round of 8, right? That's right. This is a Round of 4 map, which is Calm Before the Storm.
Yes.
I was like,
every week.
I thought this was supposed to be Daybreak, but not Daybreak.
Every week we get people who haven't, at least one person who hasn't played this map, and they always forget the pocket expansion. So let's see if they remember the pocket expansion. So, pretty standard opening for both players. We have a spawning pool coming out for the Zerg player, so he's not going hatch first, which is kind of surprising on this map because his hatch is very safe. Probably because he doesn't know he has a pocket. The Protoss player is trying to block the natural, and that is really it. One gate coming up. Cybernetics core should be started once that gate finishes, getting a standard one base wall up. So they're both playing as if they don't know this map is a super economic map.
Yeah, agreed. And that's typical. If you're not sure with the map, you're going to want to be even more safe than normal.
Exactly. Play super safe.
So they're playing extremely safe despite having such an easy natural to take. And Orion was definitely trying to sort of play his standard type game where he's ready to walk the natural over here, but unfortunately the Zerg could just go and build a pocket.
So Zerg is actually going speed before he ends up even getting an expansion. So this could be interesting.
He has cut drones on his gas.
Yes, okay, he has pulled them off, so we should see the expansion. He's clearing that worker up, and he's going to drop the expansion in its normal position.
Well, it'll make an easy third for him there.
It will make a very easy third for him. Once he learns that he can expand over by the Nern route, he will be all excited. So,
most definitely.
So yeah, nothing out of the ordinary going on. Circling speed is about half finished. The Economist is droning up, and we have a Stalker coming out for Orion. Second gateway is down.
Pretty standard here.
Yeah, I mean, nothing out of the ordinary. Just going to poke in and annoy that Zealot a little bit, but they're never actually going to make their way into that base. So, nothing out of the ordinary. Both of them going very one base, well, very middle of the road. Not super economic, not super tech, not super aggressive. So, they're just all kind of just playing it very safe. But playing it very safe doesn't have very much for us to get excited about.
I know, right?
We do have a pylon coming down at the natural, so we're going to see the Protoss player expanding very soon. Looks like a 2-gate expand. Again...
Yeah, not terribly typical, but...
There's the third gate.
Right, he's dropping his third gate. He's going to have a nice ability here to just minimize this choke a little bit, make it a little bit smaller.
Exactly. Less roaches and zerglings getting in, but we may have... Nope. He's trying to find a good place to get in, to get a good run by to scout the tech, but nothing going yet.
Yeah, it's at this time, I would sort of expect to see an Overlord sacrificed or something like that. So we do have one Overlord for Economist down here.
It's the one hanging out by the natural.
It'll be able to go in at some point and do some scouting. I'd like to see one above as well, so that he can know when that pocket expansion is taken, but he doesn't have an Overlord even on its way over there.
So Warp Gate tech has finished, so we do have some Warp Gates out, so we should see a first round of Warp-ins very soon. Playing fairly safe. 1 Zealot, 1 Stalker, 3 Sentries, and 3 more Sentries. 2 more Sentries and a Zealot come in, and then 33 drones and 3 Lings. Excuse me, for the Economist. So they're both just kind of getting their game going, getting set up for the mid-game.
And looks like we are going to have a robotics facility here for our TOS player, Orion. Doesn't look like any super extreme pressure, but he's going to be having that. And we're going to be having some spine crawlers come down. So both of these players are pretty much going to be denied expansion or scouting information until there is an observer up.
Or a Overlord sacrifice, but it doesn't look like the Economist wants to do any sacrificing of Overlords. Let's actually see what he's seen so far. He has seen... Well, he knows there's at least 2 gates. He saw the one at the front. He saw the other one building in the main, but I don't know if he clicked on it. We did have... Oh, they're clearing out that Overlord. So that Overlord didn't end up even doing a good job of being a sacrifice.
Well, it has lived, though.
It's
10
not...
hit points, 9 hit points.
It's
going to be taunting them.
It's healing up, but it's not going to be able to get in and get a ton of information. And finally, someone takes... Oh, both players are taking their pocket expansion right now. So both have discovered that they can take an easy third. So we're just going to sit here and wait.
Yep, and as far as numbers, you want around, I think it's 22 probes or 22 workers is sort of what you want on Mineral, so they're at that point worker-wise where they do need to be taking thirds. We have a Spire and a Macro Hatch going down, as well as a Roach Warren just dropping for our Zerg player. So he's just trying to get some diversified tech. But if we look at units, there's not a lot of units on the field for either player, although Protoss does have more. So we've got 13 Lings versus 5 Sentries, 4 Stalkers, and 4 Zealots. Twilight Council's finishing. So we'll be seeing what tech we have being researched. Alright, as well as a Forge going down.
And we do have an engagement right in the middle, just some Zerglings attacking a Stalker, but the Zerglings would have gotten cleaned up, so they decided to hightail it out of there. Economist is just getting his creep spread going. It's not super far, but it's good enough. He's going to make it hard for the Protoss player to engage on creep. We do have an observer kind of just flying around the map, trying to avoid that Overseer.
Alright, and we do have a Warp Prism building that's going to be in play, which I love Warp Prism. And this is going to be a fun map for it as well. This pocket expansion is going to be rather vulnerable to drops.
Absolutely.
Much more so than the natural. And the natural, there's already a lot of static defense there. But, so far not really anything happening with that third, so...
I would love to see a drop at the third, by third I mean pocket, and then force fielding the ramp so they can do as much damage as possible, because that is definitely a viable option. But it looks like we're just going to see 4 Zealots dropped in, and then maybe some more warped in after. But the Zerg is out of position. All of its Lings are out in the middle of the map. So I don't think this hatchery is going to end up going down, but he is reducing mining time, and he is just kind of getting as much damage as we can. But one Muta did pop there, so that Muta is actually going to be able to clean up that Warp Prism, which is actually already super low on health. Oh, and he lost the units in it. He didn't drop the units to try and get him to escape.
Yep, and in the meantime, we do have a transition for our Protoss player into Charge Lot Archon. Zealot Legs did just finish, and his Dark Shrine is just about to pop, so he's been getting some Dark Templars and Archons most likely, as well as Blink Stalker.
And the Zerg player is really just sticking with Ling Muta. He does have a Roach Warren, but I don't see any Roaches on the map. He actually has 1 in production now. And he has 7.
Yeah, unfortunately, Charge Lot Archon is going to do pretty well against this. Archons are just, they're a splash unit, so they do really well against a bunch of light units like Lings and Muta.
They do such a good job against Clump Mutalisks. It's insane how quickly some of them, like the Mutas, go down.
Well, and apparently, as we learned, I believe it was last week, they actually do quite well against Brood Lords, believe it or not. Alright, so looks like... Is Orion going to go for it? I think he really wants to go for it. I don't know that going in the front door is going to be the best choice, though.
He's only got 5 Stalkers. So at the moment, he doesn't have a lot to do with the Mutas.
Yeah, well, and actually, apparently, he's not actually morphing his Dark Templars. He is actually sending them right into the base. He's going to try
Oh,
and snipe off this
he's
hatchery.
just straight up trying to take it out. Where is the
Yeah,
Overseer?
he's going to get it for sure.
Yeah.
Last I saw Overseer, it was over on the other side of the
Oh,
map.
it's way over.
He's
Yep.
trying to bring it back.
That's
going to
go down.
Enough.
So that natural goes down, so he's going to try and get in and do a little more damage, but he is blocked by the roaches, so he is going to go for the upgrading evolution chamber, but they are going to get cleaned up now that the Overseer is up. But now, that is a lot of roaches.
Yeah, and if we look at the worker count, so this is not a position that Zerg wants to be in. We've got 76 probes for our Protoss player and 59 drones for our Zerg player.
And he is
So
now
he's
down a
quite
base.
behind economically, yep, and he's down a base. So it's going to be even harder for him to, maintain his production. And he doesn't have gas at his pocket third, so his gas production is going to be significantly weakened.
The Zerg player
But
is...
it looks like he might just go into a counter.
And let's see, let's go. The Zerg player is actually up by 40 supply at the moment. So he does have a much larger army, and the roaches are coming in doing as much damage as they can. Those immortals aren't even standing a chance, and those are usually so good against roaches.
Yeah, one got caught in the back there. Looks like he's doing a really nice job of focus firing them down.
The Protoss actually has a slightly better concave, but there are just so many more roaches. A blink back, and that Archon just died instantly. He has an Overseer there, so DTs are going to do nothing. So it looks like this may do a ton of damage. I don't know if it's going to finish the game, but it is going to do a ton of damage. The Orion is dropping...
I think it could be finishing the game. We've got quite a few reinforcements streaming in with just these roaches.
Oh, those are so many more roaches coming. Yeah,
they
this...
have the +1 armor, so they're going to be really a pain in the butt to kill. Although Orion does have nice upgrades.
He
I
needs...
just don't know that's to be enough.
He needs to sacrifice this expansion, get some sentries up, and force field the ramp while he rebuilds. But it doesn't look like he's going to do that. It looks like he's going to try and fight into this, which I think is a mistake. So he's
and he's just continuing to try and warp in units.
Oh, excellent corruption.
From his natural.
That was an excellent corruption on the gateway to slow down the production of the Protoss player. And it looks like, without a force field on the ramp, this should be pretty close to game. Do we have more roaches coming across? They're coming across a little bit.
Do.
They're coming across lighter. I think Ryan is maybe running out of larva? I mean, not Orion. Economist is running out of larva at this point because his enforcements are coming slower and slower, and it looks like they've each lost their natural. So he held it, but he took a lot of damage. He actually is only behind in 3 workers, though. So when they're
As far as production goes, so Orion, or the Economist, is still actually able to produce, whereas Orion is no longer producing anything, really.
And Economist did rebuild his natural expansion behind this. So I don't like this move at all by Orion to push out. He has a inferior army, so he is going to get rolled over, but he can't back it up. So let's see how this engagement goes, and the Lings are trying to get this around on the Stalkers, but they blink out. Those Immortals in the back are actually being untouched, so those Immortals are doing so much damage to those roaches. He needs to get those Immortals down quick, and there we go. He is finally focus firing the first Immortal, and the second Immortal, he is microing them back. Those Immortals have stayed up way longer than they needed to. And it looks like the Protoss player is actually going to pull ahead here.
23 kills on the 5 hit point Immortal.
Oh, those Immortals need to get cleared so quickly. That Immortal is an Executor. He's trying to snipe the Overseer so he can bring some DTs in, and he gets reinforced with a whole bunch more Stalkers. So I think the Zerg player needs to pull back.
Still at 5 hit points.
Oh, that Immortal is so close to dead.
That Immortal is like, screw you guys, I don't care.
He could just
going for broke.
sacrifice one roach just to kill that Immortal.
He's like the crazy old dude who has been in like every war and is like, back in my day.
He'll have stories now. Oh, blink into the main.
Left him. Oh, those nasty friends. That poor Immortal. 30 kills.
And there he goes. And he is done. The hero Immortal is no more. But that was a blink. He didn't actually do a ton of damage with that blink in.
To pray over his corpse. Which left, like, apparently a blue spot.
Well, it's a monument. I think that was actually
it's now gone.
That was just creeps deciding, I think. But
possibly.
He blinked into the main. He didn't do a ton of damage with that blink in. He actually just got a couple shots off on the macro hatch, and then that's about it. So they're really kind of back to where they were before both of them lost their expansions.
So there was much chaos, and now we are reset, and we are back to Ling Roach, and we've got some Archons. We also have Storm and High Templar on the field now as well, which is a new development.
Oh, well, look at that.
And a Hydralisk.
Yes, the Hydras are going to start coming out very soon.
Not sure about... I mean, Hydras do great against gateways, or against gateway units like Stalkers and Zealots.
We do have
Storm might be pretty effective.
We do have an engagement coming on right now, and there's the first Psystorm. Excellent hit, and he just walks all the Zerglings back through it. Those Zerglings are dying for no reason. And the Protoss is blinking forward, but there are still a lot of Roaches left. Another Storm clears up a couple more Roaches. Still blinking
really
forward.
Nice, well-landed storms. Those storms were quite devastating there.
And the Economist is actually running right back through the storms after. So he's definitely taking more damage than he needs to. And he's pushing them back, and they're still at equal supply. And at the moment, for armies, their army supply, it slightly favors the Protoss player, but not by a ton. So they're still on pretty even standing. Zerg has taken a secret expansion. And let's see, Orion does not know about it. He has no idea that secret expansion exists. So he's going to have to go hunting for that.
Yeah, we do have a fourth for Orion as well.
Yes, he did put that down a minute ago.
The one thing here, though, Orion is at 2-2, whereas we only have, I think, 1-0 for our Zerg player.
He is at 1-0 on the Roaches, 1-1 on the Lings.
And so, if our Protoss player, Orion, decides to, really start chronoing out upgrades, which I'm surprised he actually hasn't. He's sitting on a ton of chrono boosts. I think it'd be a good idea for him to do that. It's really, the Zerg player's going to be so far behind in upgrades that it's just going to be, I think, devastating for a battle.
Absolutely. I mean, it'll take an even supply battle and swing it heavily in the favor of the Protoss player. But the Protoss player also does have a good amount of AoE with his Psystorms and Archons. So he is going to be able to start to rip through a ton of units.
All right, we have a Nidus canal going, or a Nidus network being built. My guess is you remember that one little overlord that was about to die and was not a good scout? I bet he's going to come back into play.
And he's full health now, by the way. So the Protoss player is going to attack into this. He's got 4 spy crawlers there, so he is going to have to deal with the spy crawlers as well as the army of the Economist.
And looks like Economist is getting quite paranoid, so he's adding some more spine crawlers. I'd love to see just a couple Immortals here in the mix. Immortals just tear through.
Oh, they do so much damage.
And bunkers, especially with, upgrades.
Oh, and he is going to attack into this.
That Nidus.
But
so Nidus is going down while we have this engagement here in the Zerg's
The probes are trying to clean it up, and there is a warp in there to deal with it. There are tons of Roaches on the high ground trying to clear out this Protoss army. It looks like the Zerg is coming out ahead as a result of this. He can't really Nidus a ton of units in, and the Nidus did actually get cleaned up. But he can't Nidus a ton of units in only because he was in the middle of an engagement.
Mm-hmm.
So we do have another engagement right in the middle of the map. The Stalkers are blinking back, but this Roach Hydra army is actually doing a good amount of damage to them. It's just a matter, he is going to lose all the Roaches, so he doesn't have his tanks left, so those Hydras may start to fall pretty quickly, and we do have a warp in, but more Roaches do join the party. So
yeah, considering the upgrade disparity here, I can't believe how well these Roaches and Hydra are doing.
I feel like he's gotten a better concave every time, and I feel like the blink micro is only a little slightly detrimental to Orion. He's blinking back more Stalkers than he needs to, so he's losing damage output from them.
Yeah, I think that's very possible.
We finally have more upgrades coming up for the Protoss player. I always hate those. He's starting Attack 3. And they all look the same in the production screen, so I'd really like for them to change the color. But it looks like the Zerg is considering attacking into that 4th. I guess not, and we missed it. The 3rd for the Zerg, the 4th for Zerg was cleaned up at some point. I didn't see what actually happened there.
Could have been just that one Stalker, who knows?
That's a lot of work for one Stalker to do.
Alright, looks like the 4th for Orion is going to go and get cleaned up here. I don't believe that Orion's force can make it there in time.
No, especially because he's cleaning up the reinforcements, so he is going to lose this base, and now if the Zerg player is smart, he will get out. No, he is going to engage, and a blink forward from the Stalkers, and the Stalkers are going down very quickly.
Yeah, the Zealots were quite out of position. They sort of got stuck behind the Archon, stuck behind this little corner here.
The Zealots are doing a ton of damage, and Zealot Legs is going to finish probably in about 10 seconds, but this battle is going to be over and in favor of the Protoss before the Legs finish.
However, we are back to reset here.
Yep,
so
even supplies
both
again.
Players lost their fourths.
112 to
we are
1.
down to 112 to 112. So this game has just been a very close game. It's been battle.
The Zerg player, one gas in his main is completed. The other gas is still being mined with about 400 left. He's only using one drone in each of his natural expansions, and he has none of them in his pocket expansion. So he has almost no gas income at this moment. He's only mining essentially off the one extractor. So Zealot Legs has finished, so they are pushing in, but the Roaches are helping tank. There are so many Zealots. There actually are some transfused micro trying to keep those Roaches alive as long as possible. It looks like the Stalkers are actually attacking the evolution chamber there.
Well, I think they were trying to get more surface area for those for the Zealots on the Roaches, which isn't a bad idea, because not all of the Zealots were able to attack there.
We are still actually at even supply here, so these battles are so close, but I think that amount of Zealots with the +3 attack is going to be the big difference in this battle. The Zerg supply is finally dropping, and there is the GG.
Yeah, so I think really